All right, all the Queen's Men fans, this episode review is going to be covering Season 1, Episode 2, Silent Partner. Madam becomes the prime suspect in Alan's murder. I wonder why. Amp struggles to get his life back on track while having run-ins with a bizarre roommate and his disgruntled keeper of the halfway house who is on a mission to send him back to prison. Red is the name of the bizarre roommate, and Bill is the disgruntled keeper of the halfway house. So, before moving forward, please take a moment to hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Also, hit subscribe to help me close in on 200,000 subscribers here on YouTube by the end of the year. Follow me on social media, links are in the description, and click the bell notification icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post content on the channel. 6 out of 10. Not that this was a bad episode. No, this wasn't a bad episode. I just feel like Doc is the kind of person that is, I guess you could say, one of those. He's at the club because he looks good and can dance, but he not really has much on the IQ side. And look, I'm a person, if you know me on this channel, I don't like a lot of gore and stuff like that. So I probably would have been like, I ain't gonna lie, I probably would have threw up or passed out seeing somebody get their head blasted off in front of me. And I'm like, oh, damn. But my biggest problem with Doc here is not only the fact that he just gets up and leaves and strangely not covered in any sort of blood or brain matter, because, you know, Madam shot Alan in pretty close proximity to where Doc and Tino were, so remember on the haves and the look, before you like, Jeremy, why do you look? Each of these episode reviews are going to have Tyler Perry-isms. And I got that phrase for, what is it, Iron Panther? Because I was looking at some of his reviews last night. Because I was curious what other people on YouTube who have not had their videos blocked were saying about all the Queen's Men. And I like because him and I forgot the other person I was watching. They use some of the phrases I've used before. I think before I've used like have and have not isms or ruthless is, you know, things. But Tyler Perry isms, I think I'm going to use that phrase because it is so accurate to what's going on. Now remember, all the Queen's Men wasn't something Tyler was originally a part of, aside from, you know, looking over the original script and, you know, basically giving Christian free reign to do what he wanted. It wasn't until later he actually became part of the project. So there were some things that I'm like, if you watched and if you're familiar with like the Oval and the haves and the have-nots, you shouldn't be surprised by the way some things are done, considering that this damn show is like Cinemax or HBO level, you know, raunchy. Yeah, I'm a bit surprised they didn't show Doc covered in blood as he walked out of the room. So I'm thinking, well, what, you know, Blue's there, and I guess Tina pitched in to take Alan's body, and what was it? They put him up in like a carpet and tape. It was like when Jennifer Salison got killed in the haves and have-nots, and the Malones apparently just wrapped her ass up in like tape and plastic and threw out of the back of the van at the news station like she was you know, a turkey being pulled out of the freezer on Thanksgiving. So yeah, I mean, we know Midnight gets a phone call to come assist with Madam has Alan's body buried in the back of the club, in like the, you know, the property of the club, you know, out. I could not help but think about when Quincy was, I think it was Benny, right? Benny had buried Quincy's body in the backyard of Candace's new house. And I'm thinking, but why though? In the back of the club, it's just like Edgar Allan Poe fans, A Telltale Heart, you know, when the dude was chopped up and buried underneath the floorboards of the house. But in this situation, I'm sorry, but I could not understand it. So I I don't know if Midnight actually assisted with getting the body out of the house and then, in the vehicle to be transported to the club, or if Blue and Tina, look, Blue is capable, but I'm like, Alan was a big dude, okay, whatever, I'm thinking too much, and that's taking away from the enjoyment of the show. I apologize, but like I said, if you've watched a lot of my content, this is what I do. So Madam has some cleaners come by the house like the Malones did for Jennifer. Look, damn it, I'm going to be making these Tyler Perry show comparisons because I got to. So basically, the cleaners come to erase any kind of evidence and whatnot, basically making it seem like Alan had somewhat disappeared as opposed to being murdered. So, yeah. Later on in the episode, I believe Detective Davis is the name of the character who has Tina on the phone to try to set up Doc by revealing who killed Alan. Basically, Doc is just proving how his name might be Doc, but he certainly has no degree. I mean, it just felt so on the nose of like your mom getting you to snitch on your sibling for doing something wrong. Like, hey, you remember how there was this piece of cake in the kitchen and I left you two in here alone, and obviously you had no chocolate in your mouth or on your teeth, but where was your sister at? Did she eat that cake? It kind of felt like that. So Doc basically avoided a potential setup there. So we go over to the second part of the synopsis where Amp is, trying to look for a job, and his weird roommate Red, basically is, as somebody who had roommates for 4 years in college, 1 year at an apartment, and then 5 years at another apartment. Thankfully, in my apartment situations, I didn't have too many invasive or intrusive roommates. But yeah, in college, it's like when you're literally living in the same room, it gets, hectic to like not step on each other. But yeah, I thought that Red might be a person who, is he into men? Is he into Amp? What's going on? He's basically too in your face and needs to just back off. But Amp again isn't trying to go to the strip club life. He's trying to do something legit. And we go over to Babyface, who Miss Patty, who I believe I mentioned in episode 1. Miss Patty is his sugar mama. And Babyface, in the synopsis of each character or the character description, Babyface is like the oldest stripper, but basically based on his look, he's Babyface. So, you wouldn't have guessed he's the oldest stripper based off his physical appearance. But Miss Patty basically owns everything he has. Babyface doesn't have his name on anything, which is a dangerous way to live, especially when you're at that age, because as the series goes on, we learn more about each character and, why they strip. It's the common, well, I'm stripping my way to go through college, or I don't know anything else, or, one day I want to get out of here. And then some people, it's like, I started, but then I just couldn't stop because it's the only thing I'm good at. And it's like, well, when you reach a certain age, if you have nothing in your name, you really got to be careful, because Midnight pretty much warns him, Miss Patty, she messed up my credit in the past. So basically, don't cross Miss Patty. El Fuego is talking with a white girl named Tony, who is adorable. I think she's cute. And I looked her up on Instagram because I'm pretty sure I've seen this actress in another project, but I can't place it. El Fuego, doesn't want to get head from Tony. And some people I saw on Twitter, could actually tweet at all the Queens, man, just to see again what fans are saying, because I know I'm about a couple weeks late on these reviews. But some people were saying, well, is El Fuego gay? It's like, is he just not into white girls? But if you watch Sisters, when him and Danny kind of get it on, and even his first scene with Sabrina, it's like, nah, I don't get any impression that El Fuego is into men. He just seems like El Fuego. That's pretty much it. So, he's kind of like the tech guy. He's going to be the social media director of the Club Eden. And, again, as a person who doesn't really follow strip club accounts, I'm pretty sure in the day of technology, strip clubs, hotels, all that stuff have websites. So I guess with El Fuego being like, tech savvy, that could hint to him being one of the younger strippers, so to speak. And we have a great scene between Madam and Blue, who I believe are kind of like, at lunch. And we meet some new characters here. Jay and Trouble from episode 1. Jay, who honestly seems more the kind of character I would have expected to see at one of the amateur nights at the strip club, wants to meet up with Madam to give the proposition of dancing at the club. And of course, Trouble, the white girl from episode 1, wants to dance too. And she pretty much says there's only black excellence allowed at the club. And you might feel like that seems a bit counterproductive to your business model, especially when I'm pretty sure a bulk of, if not all, the episodes at the club show white women throwing money just as much as the black women. And it kind of reminds me of that one scene from the Wayans brothers when Marlon has the Afro Cab service. Afro Cab, we serve the brother man, not the other man. But it's like the other man got the money though. So I guess it's one of those things where in the Queen's Court it's chocolate only, not white chocolate. But sometimes you got to look past that. It's for black people anyway, and realize, well, at the end of the day, should the only color that matters be green? So that pretty much makes you wonder, will Trouble ever get her chance to shine? If you watched all the episodes, you kind of already know the answer to that question. So we also, actually, good Lord, this is what I get for writing this late at night last week. We meet Shamika, who kind of gets roughed up from, I believe, her foster home or foster family, or a couple of girls just kind of beat her up and leave her on the street. Madam kind of takes pity, so we almost see like a female Robin Hood aesthetic here, where Madam is, not one who's above reaching down to pick somebody up. She gives some money and a phone to this new character, Shamika, and hooks her up with Gabriel to kind of give her a new outfit to kind of fix her up. So while on lunch, Blue is surprised by Madam to go for a mani-pedi massage session. And I'm not going to lie, based on the thumbnail, I'm like, wait, are these two kind of like messing around here or what? And no, it just seems like a girls' night out, so to speak, or girls' day or spa day or whatever you want to call it. So from there, we get to the club scene, and kind of like in the preview, that scene where Keisha is the girl who is recording the strip performance, and Madam shows up, gives her a bloody nose, and basically spells it out to everybody. There's no photos or video in the club. And part of me is like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because again, as somebody who's never been to a strip club, imagine being one of the dancers and let's say there might be some sort of like NDA, because there's a lot of sexual activity going on in there. So you don't want that kind of stuff exposed online, especially if you're only there for, maybe one night, but then you get on video and it goes viral somewhat and people see it. So you're in a compromising position. So yeah, Keisha's thrown out of the club, and that doesn't really contradict El Fuego's social media director position, due to the fact that, well, you want to control the narrative. Like, it's like these comedians like Dave Chappelle and a few others who have made it clear when they do comedy performances, they have a no phone policy, because what if a person only puts up part of your joke online and it gets taken out of context because the people watching haven't seen the entire performance? It will throw things out of whack. So we go back to the synopsis. I wanted to bring up the fact that Amp is in a situation where he's trying to get his life on track, but it's kind of weird when you have this creepy ass roommate and then the disgruntled keeper Bill, who wants to basically send people back to prison. You kind of get the idea that you might get these people who are fresh out of the pen in compromising positions where they're kind of like the fall guy, where I could see Red and Bill conspiring in order to set up the person who's out of jail to go back to jail for a crime they committed, because that could be in line with the title being called Silent Partner. You never know. But looking more at my notes here, and I believe Miss Tandy, hopefully I got that name right, Midnight and Babyface are put on duty to give her a hell of a show, considering that she's a high roller. I mean, Same with a casino. When there is a high roller or different high rollers at your establishment, you want to make sure they get the best treatment ever, because, well, if you keep them happy, they're going to spend more money, and the more money the strippers make, the more money the club makes. You know, everybody's happy from there. So partner, I feel introduced us to, a small amount of new characters, while also carrying over from the last episode. Like I said, didn't really make a good, impression of Doc to me, because of the fact that you got yourself into this situation, but then Madam basically explained, you all belong to me, with the kind of money we're making, so I can't afford for my talent to, be compromised. However, that begs the question, was it really worth killing your business partner in order to do it? I mean, I just feel like killing off Alan was such a reckless move due to the repercussions of it, because, yeah, I mean, given the fact that he mentioned in the first episode about the selling out of the club to her former partner, it's like I said in the Oval, when Victoria's parents eventually both die, and then the haves and have-nots when you look at the Malone situation, and even in Ruthless, where when Lilo dies, or he got murdered, he mentioned that, before that, he told the Heights, if anything happens to me, the cartel's going to be coming knocking at the door. Basically, if you think I'm trouble, guess what? There are even badder people out there than I am. I'm the nice one. I'm the middleman, but if something happens to me, you create a power vacuum. So I feel like that was one of the most iffy things to do, kill off the partner. Like, I get it. Some women will think, yeah, he deserved to die, beating, raping his wife, abusing her. But when you look at it from a business perspective, it's almost like, the president killing the vice president, even though I know that's a weird comparison. I'm just trying to think, like, let's say here's a better example. Let's say you and somebody, I don't know, usually they say never start a business with your friend, but let's just say you and your friend start a successful business together, whether it be social media or a company, I don't know. But you both play different roles in the company. And let's say you decided to kill your partner because you wanted to take over completely, but you didn't know exactly everything your partner was doing. Like, for all you know, they probably were, exchanging money under the table, working with some other people. So once they're dead, you're expected to take on their responsibilities, as we'll see later on in another episode. So I think killing off Alan wasn't a smart move for multiple reasons. And I'm not saying I wanted Doc to die, but, sure, Doc is one of your strippers, but Alan was your business partner. So I don't know. There are just so many things I had iffy feelings about. But like I said, this was a pretty decent episode despite the 6 out of 10 score. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What elements of the episode did you want me to talk more about? Or would you like to talk more about in the comments? And hopefully these reviews where, they might not be as long as the Oval and whatnot. Because like I said, there are some scenes I just can't watch. We can get at least an idea of what to talk about, and maybe you'll have some insight as to whether or not you want to watch the show. So like I said before, like and subscribe, and if you want to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App.